The listing looked normal. Clean photos, good reviews. No complaints, that's what made it so much worse. Before we dive into this, if you enjoy slow, unsettling horror stories that get under your skin, do me a favor and subscribe right now. Because this story is about staying somewhere that doesn't need to threaten you. It just needs you to make one single mistake. The house was quiet when he arrived. Almost unnaturally so, but not in a dramatic horror movie way. It was just neutral. There were no strange creaks from the floorboards, no drafts from old windows, just a profound, unsettling silence. The welcome message on the counter was short, printed on a clean white card. "Enjoy your stay. Please respect the house." That was it. No long list of rules, no quirky instructions. Just a simple request. He unpacked, settling into the minimalist space. The furniture was modern, everything perfectly placed. It felt less like a home and more like a showroom, meticulously arranged and untouched. He spent the first day exploring the small town nearby, and when he returned, the house was just as he had left it, silent and still. The first night passed without a single incident. And that's a really important detail, because nothing bad happened until something incredibly small changed. He was in the living room trying to read, but the angle of the armchair felt awkward, so he moved it. Not far, just a few inches, shifting it to catch the light from the lamp a little better. He sat down, got comfortable, and continued his book. And that's when the house first reacted. He didn't notice it then, but a line had been crossed. The next morning, he walked into the living room, coffee in hand, and froze. The armchair was back in its original spot, perfectly aligned with the rug, exactly as it had been when he first arrived. His first thought was simple. He must have moved it back himself last night out of habit. A bit strange, but he shrugged it off. He must have been more tired than he thought. That evening, he was making dinner. He left a kitchen knife on the counter next to the sink after chopping some vegetables. He went to the bathroom for a minute, and when he came back, the knife was gone. His heart skipped a beat. He scanned the kitchen, and then he saw it. The knife was back in the wooden block, nestled in its designated slot, handle facing outward, perfectly straight. He hadn't done that. He was absolutely certain he had not done that. He stood there for a long time, just staring at the knife block. This was different from the chair. He couldn't rationalize this away. The house wasn't haunted, not in the traditional sense. It felt like it was correcting him, tidying up after his mistakes. A cold feeling started to creep up his spine. He immediately pulled out his phone and checked the rental listing again. He scrolled through every photo, read every word of the description, sifted through all the reviews one more time. Nothing, no updates, no hidden messages. No mention of house rules beyond the simple respect the house. He decided to contact the host. He sent a message trying to sound casual. "Hi, just a quick question. Are there any specific house rules I should be aware of? The house is great, just want to make sure I'm not missing anything." He hit send. The message was marked as delivered. He waited and waited. No response. But the house started responding in its own way. He left a light on in the hallway. He'd return minutes later to find it switched off. He'd leave a door slightly ajar. He'd turn around to find it quietly clicked shut. It was never aggressive, never startling. It was just firm. A constant, silent reminder that he was not following the proper order of things. He felt like he was being watched, not by a person, but by the house itself. It was a patient, meticulous observer. On the morning of the third day, something new appeared. On the perfectly clean kitchen table, there was a single piece of paper that hadn't been there before. It was the same type of card as the welcome note. On it, written in the same sterile, printed font, was one sentence. "You weren't supposed to do that." No signature. No explanation of what that was. Was it moving the chair? Leaving the knife out? He had no idea. The ambiguity was the worst part. He was being judged by a set of rules he didn't even know existed. He spent the rest of the day in a state of high alert, retracing his steps, trying to figure out the pattern. And that's when a horrible realization began to dawn on him. The house wasn't just enforcing rules, it was learning. It was learning asterisk and asterisk. Think about it. Every guest is different. Every guest has their own little habits, their own ways of being slightly messy or out of place. Every guest breaks a rule. That's how the house gets to know you. It doesn't need a long list of instructions because it creates the rules around your behavior. It waits, it watches. Not to punish you immediately, but to see if you'll notice its corrections. To see if you'll adjust your own behavior to match its unspoken standards. It wants you to become part of its perfect, orderly system. That night, he couldn't take it anymore. The silence, the constant corrections, the feeling of being managed by the very walls around him, it was too much. He packed his bags in a frantic rush, his hands shaking. He just had to get out. He walked to the front door, his heart pounding in his chest. He reached for the handle, expecting it to be locked, expecting some final, dramatic confrontation. But the door unlocked easily. The handle turned without resistance. Freedom was right there. He pulled the door open, but he couldn't step outside. The air beyond the threshold felt wrong. It wasn't cold or hot. It was just incorrect. An overwhelming feeling washed over him, a deep-seated certainty that leaving right now in the middle of the night was another rule he was about to break, a major one. And he had already broken enough. The house had been patient with his small mistakes. He had a chilling feeling that it would not be so patient with this one. And that brings us back to the reviews. All those 5-star ratings. Clean, quiet, lovely stay. The reviews were honest. No one was lying. Because by the time they left, they had been fully integrated into the house's system. They had learned the rules subconsciously. You don't complain about a chair being moved back if you don't even remember moving it in the first place. You don't review what you don't remember changing. The house doesn't just correct its space. It corrects your memory, your behavior, until your stay is nothing but a pleasant, orderly blur. You leave a good review because by the end you were the perfect guest. Some places don't want guests. They want compliance. They want you to fit into their world, not the other way around. If this story managed to unsettle you, do me a favor and hit that like button. It really helps the channel out. And make sure you subscribe for more slow burn horror from when lights out. Thanks for watching.